Okay, so I'm going to follow up a little bit and take a deeper dive into video specifically. So Melinda mentioned a number of different ways that you can take a format that goes beyond the PDF and use it and see where it takes you. So I'm going to focus on just one. So I think this is something that one of my colleagues pointed out to me not too long ago, and I think it's pretty neat. In 1996, when what we consider the adolescence of the internet, maybe, Bill Gates pointed out that content is king. That was an essay that he wrote. And he said, those who succeed will propel the internet forward as a marketplace of ideas, experiences, and product, a marketplace of content. So this is the birthplace of the concept of content marketing. He was aware that content was being produced even then at an ever-increasing speed and scale. And as that moved into what people have called Web 2.0, where there's a democratization and individuals are able to create content and share it in a more open and interactive way. I think this all really applies as well to publishing, or it will apply to publishing. So you could kind of think of this the same way, that we're reaching a point where publishers are identifying themselves as being able to provide information and solutions to bring this content to a marketplace. So what we're really talking about is content marketing for research. So as a researcher or a publisher, if you think of it this way, both of them really want to create, or in this case, or share high quality, meaningful content, produce content with reasonable quantity and rhythm, but also some variety, and to share that content through the right channels to reach the right audience. And I think the question then becomes, well, who is the audience? Therefore, what channels do you want to pick? So I think if you ask what is the audience for research, the big obvious answer, and I actually asked this question this morning at one of the Sprint for the Book sessions, the biggest one is, well, other researchers, right? And as a microbiologist myself, I know when I wrote that paper, I'm thinking about, well, how do other people in my field, how are they going to read this and understand it and build off of it? But I think that there's more. Melinda identified one, and that's funders, to make sure that if they're looking at the top of the funnel and pouring money in, well, they want to see what's coming out at the bottom. And there's the broader public. So, of course, everyone in general, but there's some particular people, lawmakers who are setting policy, healthcare professionals who are making life and death decisions about treatments based on research, teachers, patients themselves. So these are the real potential audience for research is exceedingly broad. And that question then is, well, what format should the content take? And if you go back to that first one, well, other researchers are used to research papers. And that's the one where that's how they're measured, that's how they roll. But I think that there's room for a lot of other things. And this is, again, what Melinda touched on. It could be infographics or data that's interactive. It could be audio, or it could be video content. And I think video is an interesting space, and it's certainly one that's already explored there are journals that focus entirely on videos, like Jove, or there are others that create video abstracts or solicit video abstracts for their work already. And I think they're realizing this information, which is just how popular video is. And if you look in terms of volume, YouTube is the second largest search engine. So after Google, the number of searches that are done on YouTube itself, it's 3 billion a month. So, and while that's obviously very broad, running from teenagers up to scientists and presidents, presumably, it's a huge number. And 6 billion hours of video are viewed every month. And that's grown really, really rapidly. So by next year, 69% of consumer internet traffic will involve watching videos. So over 2/3 of the traffic on the internet that isn't from businesses or downloads, things like that, will be video. And I think you're seeing this also in terms of not only is recorded video content discoverability important, but people are turning to live video with tools like Periscope or Facebook Live. So what does that mean for researchers and video? We actually developed a product, our video abstracts, in collaboration with Nature Publishing Group. And this was designed to answer some questions that researchers are saying, I want a new way to disseminate my work. I would like to have more control over that process. And thinking about just finding a channel for reaching those other audiences that it's hard to do perhaps by just sending them a copy of their PDF or their book. So what these are is a 2 to 4 minute animated video, and this enables us then to be able to work with people that are across the world, not have to go to their office and put a video camera right in front of them. And then we work with a team at our company of PhDs that takes a couple of steps that I've got listed here to produce a video. Usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks. First, we read the paper or the information and write a script and explicitly write it in a way that's meant to reach an educated lay audience. So this is the first step toward crossing that boundary. The PDF, of course, is a format, but it's also a style of writing and a very dense one in most fields. And then they storyboard that out, what that would look like, create custom animations and record the voiceover. And we do this with feedback from the authors at a couple of different stages, so writing the script and also seeing the finished video. And that's to ensure that we've got the story right. Finally, we upload these to YouTube, and of course the researchers are free to upload them wherever they like. Common places are their lab website, or the institution may have a repository or a site where they showcase research. And we tag them with keywords as well, and that's to get at that searchability. If there are 3 billion people searching on YouTube, they're probably perhaps not even using the terms that are within the article itself, but we have this kind of the lay summary and the keywords as well. So the initial collaboration that we did with Springer Nature, and if you were in the previous session, I know you saw a little of this from my colleague, but I think it's relevant here. We did 30 trial videos with them, and together that created over 46,000 views for these 30 videos, and an average of over 1,000. And this led to a 29% increase in article downloads. So again, when you're looking for, this is all great, this is a nice thing to have, it's a great way to reach people, does it come back to influence what we consider to be impact, at least we can agree on as impact right now? And the answer is yes. We even saw, looking more broadly, about a 5-fold increase in altmetric score for this pilot. So if you're comparing it to other articles in that same journal that didn't receive a video, there's a pretty big boost there. So I have just a couple of examples. I'm not playing the videos today because I want to make sure we have a chance for everyone to get to talk, but if you go to youtube.com/researchsquare, you can see these. They're all up for free. So this is one particularly great example, looking at a study that was measuring the difference between matter and antimatter and seeing if they really were equivalent. And it was done at the Large Hadron Collider. And so this had over 14,000 views when I last checked, and it's got shared on popular outlets like IFL Science and some other kind of places that are facing a more public than researchers. And this was a great example, if any of you were at the Meet the Press session, of timing, right? Where the video can be created, released alongside the publication of the paper, along with a press release, and create that sort of perfect storm of content that can move into different channels easily, but draw people eventually back to the paper and the written record. And even something with a little less broad appeal, I mean, I think the Large Hadron Collider kind of sounds cool to the kid in all of us, but we had a paper that we did that was about creating a micro laser that you could form inside a cell, inside of pig cells, and that reached about 9,000 views as well. So with the right kind of engaging spin on it, it's easy to take something that you might not see the connection with initially and bring it to life. And the summaries are expressly written with the idea that we're highlighting the context for the research and not simply summarizing what is in the paper. So we ask the authors, tell us, what's the implication of this? You know, what's the so what? What's that question that if you were going to get asked, well, what's next based on what you found here? That's built in. So some other use cases, it doesn't have to be a full research article. We've done some with annual reviews, so review articles and just kind of annual reviews in particular. They're very lengthy articles. They're very in-depth. I mean, they're top of their field. But this is a sort of snackable piece that can get somebody interested in diving into it more. Or key points even from entire journal issues. So this is from the MRS Bulletin. It can, likewise, video content is great for promoting an upcoming conference or a particular talk at a conference, highlighting research being done with a specific tool or equipment, or educational content, which obviously would make a lot of sense. So that's something that we're working on, and we're excited to see the potential that the same format and process has to unlock a lot of these other areas to the public more generally. So I think in terms of the existing efforts to communicate research, it's kind of a group effort between the researcher and the publisher. And the researcher, of course, does great work creating the research and writing it in a way that other researchers know. And the publishers do a great job at making sure that that content is available to other researchers primarily, but in multiple forms. But I think that there's a lot of room, and we'll hear more about it in a moment, to reach the public that has an interest in the research, but maybe not the direct experience or expertise to understand the words that are written in the PDF. And so I think that there's room for service providers. I use that term really broadly. So not only services like Kudos, but also the offices at universities that share and communicate research to kind of strengthen that arrow there. So between the publisher and the researcher and the efforts they're doing to help them reach the public in a way that is more natural and easy. So again, there's just the link to our YouTube channel, but I'm going to, at this point, turn it over to Sarah to give us a look at digital humanities. So enough science examples for you. Thank you.